I know it's been a minute since the last video, but I finally have all the parts and pieces I need to redo the wheels and suspension on this CB750. This video we are starting in earnest. Some of you might have noticed the Ohlins box right there. I'm not screwing around. We're doing the thing. All right. Oh boy. Okay, so you saw this thing in the last video. It's from Cognito Moto, this custom built wheel. Warp 9 rims, custom machined hub. This is supposed to fit between an R6 fork setup with custom triple trees. You'll see it in a bit. It takes dual front discs like your average sport bike. Both the front and the back are 17s. I probably would have preferred to use 18 front and rear, but one of the trade-offs with buying used parts is that while you're getting a discount, you might not always get exactly what you're looking for. That's all right. I think this is going to look pretty cool. These are pretty beefy tires. This is an Avon Road Rider that I just had kind of kicking around. This is a 120 width. Man, I kind of feel like I'm on a cooking show. That's okay. All right, this is the back wheel. You can see she's a girthy one, 150 series, which is it's big for 750. This thing is designed to use the sprocket carrier from the original CB750 wheel. You just gotta modify the cush drive rubber a little bit. Meaning you gotta take like the little nub off of the rubber here so that it fits in properly. It's a little sketchy. I don't know. I don't love it. Obviously this stuff is not like super clean because I need to make sure that everything is going to line up properly, that I don't need to modify things. There's no point in doing fine finish work like paint and powder coat until you're absolutely sure that everything is the way that it needs to be. As it is, I'm not sure that the chain line is going to work with this 150 series tire. So we're going to throw it on there for now, see how we do. I don't know, would you guys watch a cooking show if I made one? I don't know what I'd cook. Ramen, mac and cheese. Flip her over and do the brake rotor. So before these wheels can go on, I guess I can do the back first. I was going to say maybe we should do the forks. That's a lot of work. I don't know. We'll see. I think maybe we'll do the back wheel first. Huh. All that because this bolt wouldn't come out unless I remove the swingarm first. That's Honda for you. Well, I had to do a little bit more disassembly than I was expecting. You can see the swing arm that I pulled off over here. Reason being that the brake arm, the piece that kept the brake caliper in place, had a bolt going through it that when I tried to remove would hit the frame rail. It hit the frame rail right in there, and so that necessitated removing the whole thing. That's fine. That gives me the opportunity to clean up all of this junk before I stick this nice shiny new wheel on it. Alright, it's the next day. I've got the swing arm cleaned up, and I think just wanted to make sure that everything was going to work out okay with this thing. Seems to be the case. I'm really cutting it close with this tire. So one thing that I'm going to have to figure out is where is this sprocket going to sit in relation to the rest of the axle. Like that, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to be able to get the chain around the tire with this all set up like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the swing arm back on, and then we'll install the wheel again. A bit of a tight fit, this nut. Chain line actually looks great. Almost like they designed it to do this. This is using the stock CB750 spacer right there, tied up against the swing arm, and that's pretty on the money right there, I would say. That means that I am left with a gap right here. If I was using the stock original wheel setup, then I'd probably have that spacer, but because I used that Suzuki wheel instead, I made my own custom ones, so they're not going to work here. However, I think if this random spacer I found plus a washer, I think that'll do. You want to see the new shocks on this thing? Yes, I do. Swing arm is. So these shocks are actually meant for the later 80s models, the dual cams, not the single cam like I have. So they're a little longer than stock, which means that my swing arm is going to have to come down a little bit, which means I'm going to have to take off this giant muffler. I was going to have to do that anyway, but I guess I'm doing it now. Now, where were we? Ohlins gave me a bolt with a 16mm head. What is with that? 16mm? I know it's metric because it's grade 8.8. Well, that's the back done. Now I guess it's time to move on to the front. We'll start by stripping off all of the stuff that I'm not going to reuse. Like, unfortunately, that cool windshield that I accidentally broke when I tipped the bike over in the shop. Not even riding, just here. Maybe I'll get another one. It's definitely a lot harder than it should have been. Every time I do one of these, all the ball bearings always go like all over the place, and then I'm finding them like just around the shop for the next like 7 weeks.
It has ball bearings.
Yeah, these bikes from the 70s use ball bearings instead of like a tapered roller.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next episode of my cooking show. These are my next ingredients, which is of course the front end swap. What I got here are supposedly, ostensibly, forks from a 2006 or 2007 Yamaha R6. And over here, these are custom CNC machined aluminum triple trees meant to go on a CB750 and fit a set of Yamaha R6 forks. Like I said before, I bought this stuff as a parts lot from another guy who, ordered everything. So this is not something that I would probably normally buy for myself. These retail for, like, last I checked, $800 US, not including the forks, not including the wheel. It's a lot of money. But when I was presented with the opportunity to buy these things at a reduced price, since they were unused but not new, I thought, yeah, this is a good opportunity. It comes with drawbacks. I already explained, like, you're not always going to get what you want. You might really want a red car, but the only used ones out there are black. So unless you're prepared to sit and wait for one to pop up, you're going to drive a black car. In this case, it's a little more complicated because I don't know if you realize there's a lot of parts and pieces that are going on this build, and you're putting a lot of trust into the guy putting the stuff into his shopping cart that he actually knows what he's buying. Case in point. Yeah, that's a major issue. What am I going to do about that? This is a fun one. Got the incorrect bearings for the swap and accidentally got one for a single cam instead of his dual cam. So I think I actually lucked out there.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, absolutely. So these appear to be the right forks, and this appears to be the correct triple tree. I'm not exactly sure where my issue lies, and it's not like I can go back to the manufacturer and say like, hey, you screwed up. First off, because I don't know if they did, and secondly, I didn't buy this from them. And I'm not trying to blame the guy that I did buy this from because, you know, like I said, he might not have really known what he was looking at. I didn't check these. I didn't think to check this when I was thinking about buying these things, and I guess that's on me. Fortunately, I am probably uniquely situated to do something about this issue. Behind me, I've got a milling machine and a lathe, and kind of like a cooking show, I've already prepared something. That's this. What you're looking at here is a piece of stainless steel tubing that I chucked up on the lathe and turned down the inside and outside diameter so that it fits nicely in here. Nice and tight up here. Is this going to kill me? Probably not. I think in theory this is a good idea. Okay. Some of you guys might be kind of freaking out about this, and you know, honestly, fair play. But like, I've done some stringent bouncing around in the shop, and I feel pretty confident that this is going to hold. You know, it's actually kind of really surprising how little pressure is actually needed to hold this thing in place. Let's put this on the bike. There's nothing better than going down the street in first gear at 10,000 RPM.
But I don't quite have the balls to actually put it in there.
It's pretty funny though. All right, not bad for an afternoon's work, huh? Let's get it off the lift. See what it looks like on the ground. Gotta be careful here, I don't have any brakes. big tires. Might have to hot rod this thing in order to justify the 150 width in the back. I don't know. 17-inch wheels, while they're kind of small, are very wide, so it gives it kind of a, I don't know, like a bulldog kind of vibe. I'm liking it so far. So that's suspension checked off the list for the most part. There's still some little things to do here and there. That center stand is going to have to come off because it is, with the taller shocks and the wider wheel, it's hitting the tire, hitting the chain. Not good. But I don't know what we're going to do next. I've got quite a few things kind of lined up. I've got everything ready to go. So I don't know, maybe electrical system, hand controls, maybe foot controls. I'm going to do rear sets to match the dumped front end there. Maybe we'll do a custom exhaust. I have a plan in mind for that. It's going to be my new tail section. I'm not going to keep this seat because it's a two-seater and I'm not going to have passenger pegs. But I'm going to leave that till kind of the last thing. I want to make sure that I'm not going to get in my own way. All right, I'm going to stare at this thing for a while. I will see you guys later.